Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a special holiday year-end edition of the Next After live internet broadcast. We are in a festive mood here at Next After. I hope you are.
Very festive.
And we're looking forward to doing some live optimization today. And I am joined with the ultra festive, John.
Santa Claus.
Amazing. John Blazin, aka Old Saint Nick Claus. And the optimization diva, Courtney Gaines. Now, a lot of people don't know that inside of our office, we actually have this scoreboard. And we always have who has had the most successful experiments, and month after month, week after week, year after year, it seems, Courtney Gaines is at the top of that.
Wow,
so
that's why her Gaines.
We said, Courtney, can you
The only
take
reason.
just a few minutes away from your busy work of optimizing our client
Yes.
stuff and join us
Absolutely.
to optimize some of our stuff. So we are really thrilled that you're here today. I've got a couple quick announcements. We are already thinking about next year, and for us, that's all about training. We have put together a series of different certification workshops, email, fundraising, optimization, donation and landing page optimization, and content marketing, Facebook donor acquisition certification. And we are really excited about that. Once a month, we'll be hosting those live workshops here in our offices. So if you want to come and see us, you can go check that out at nextafter.com/training and learn all about that. Also, we are really excited because next year, the NEO Summit, Nonprofit Innovation Optimization Summit, is moving to Denver. And we are absolutely thrilled. We have the most amazing venue, the Ellie Calkins Opera House, which is absolutely gorgeous facility. We'll have 16 speakers over 2 days, people coming in from literally all over the world to attend this thing. So if you really want to go deep in the world of digital fundraising, innovation, and optimization, we hope that you will join us. You can check out the website, learn more information at niosummit.com. Okay, we got through all the announcements.
Right.
A couple quick just housekeeping things. These are questions we're always asked, so I just want to address these. Number one, we are making a recording of today's broadcast, so if you're not able to attend, if you want to share with a colleague, you can certainly do so, because we will send you a link to the video after the broadcast. We'll also send you a link to all of the slides and the experiments that we reviewed today during our time together. And finally, we don't just want this to be a monologue or even just a dialogue between us.
Or a trialogue?
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
You're making up words now.
Yeah, quite.
That's
I'm
Kevin-
wearing the suit.
That's
I can
Kevin
do
Peters'
it.
job. Please leave Kevin Peters to making up the words. Okay.
My head.
But we really would love for you to engage in the conversation with us. And you can do so by going to the website where you're viewing. Right there on the side, there's a little chat area. Shoot us your comments, answer other people's questions, or post your questions there as well. And finally, before we get started, I would like to introduce a very special guest. Gracie, can you come here?
Come on.
So my daughter Gracie, she's been asking, Daddy, can I come to work today? And today's the day you're gonna get the shot.
Come on in.
So
Come by
everybody
Santa.
say hi to Gracie. Gracie is 10 years old, and she is my only girl, and I love her so much, and we're so we're thankful that you could join us today. Thanks, Gracie.
Big
Great.
screen, parents.
All right, all the announcements are done.
Whew. All right.
Now, John, I'm going to make a wager. I'm going to wager to say that you may or may not have a pop culture movie reference in today's presentation. Is that true?
Well, you can make that wager. It's
Okay.
probably going to happen.
Well, I said it's either going to happen or not, so basically I win either way.
Yeah, you're going to win.
That's called hedging your
Right.
bets, my friends.
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to win.
Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and turn things over to John, who's going to guide us through a little bit of strategic orienteering as we kind of just get our sights set on how we're going to approach this aspect of optimizing pages, and then we're going to dive in. You have submitted your emails, you have submitted some donation landing pages, and we're going to take time to go through as many as we possibly can
Right.
to identify opportunities for you to get the most out of this year end. So John, take her away.
Let's get started. So here's the thing, let me get you oriented really quick. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 experiments, and I want to get your feedback. Which do you think is going to produce the best results? Okay, there's version A and version B, as you can see, one on the left, one on the right. Really not that big of a difference, but let me just point out to you where that difference is. What do you think? Was there any difference? Version A, version B? What do you guys think? Give you just a quick second to let us know. We're watching it, believe it or not. We've got that little nice computer down there. Well, let's see you've made your selections. Which one was it? Well, believe it or not, version A, 90% increase in donations. Unbelievable. We checked the data. It was correct, and it actually was from last year's year-end giving season. So just this little bit. Oh my gosh, let's look at another one, okay? Subject line test. It is important that we remember ... or are you with us? Only a few hours remain. Well, what do you think? Version A, version B, no difference. Go ahead and take a moment. Make your selection. What do you think? Well, let me show you the answer. Version A was the winner. So if you picked version A, not only did it get a 5.5% increase in opens, but more importantly, it had a 59% increase in clicks. Same exact email content, but different frame at the very beginning, different way to pull them in, right? And then finally, my favorite, if you were selling jars at the local supermarket, which setup would you have? Which setup do you think would actually net you more money and more sales?
Is that jelly?
Yes, so let me tell you, this is an actual experiment that was run by an organization in partnership with some academics, and these were all exotic jellies, okay? So they had so many different kinds, and on one, portion of their experiment, they had this set up on the table, they put all their exotic jellies up there, so people could come, take a look, and all of that, and have an idea, and then they could purchase. But then in another setup, as part of the experiment, somewhere else, they did it well. I'm not going to go into those details. They only showed 6. So the question is did it make a difference, number one? And number two, which one actually made them more money? Well, make your choice. Is it 6 jars of jelly? And I'm talking like mincemeat, pineapple, green, or is it 20-some jars of jelly?
What is mincemeat?
You know what? I'm not even going to go.
Some things
are left. So now that you've made your choice, let me go ahead and give you the answer. Believe it or not, it was 6, the presentation of 6, that increased purchases by 621%. Okay? What's the point of me showing you all of this? Okay? Well, the point is this. A small adjustment in our eyes can actually make all the difference in their eyes. And who are we talking about? Who's the they in this case? Well, it's the donors, right? Fundraisers are Mars, donors are from Venus. There's just this natural disconnect that we have. And we have to do something about it. Even us, we're standing here right before you, we still have to solve for that disconnect every single day that we get into, okay? And so that's what optimization is about, right? We're talking about live optimization. We're going to help you find the disconnects between us and them, okay? Between you and the donors that you're trying to inspire, right? It's what we do as an organization, and I won't go into all of this. You can just see that we've done a lot of experiments, we've done a lot of research, and yeah, great, wonderful. Finding and fixing disconnects, it's about these things, right? So we look for misconceptions, okay? So maybe maybe they believe something about your organization that's not true, or maybe they have a wrong frame, wrong idea, or maybe misconstruals. Maybe they just don't understand exactly what you're saying. Maybe they're misconstruing what you're saying for something else. Or maybe there's something in your email, or is there something on your donation page that's irritating them, or it's, think of something that's irritating you, right? You might bear it, right? But after a while, you just know more, right? And then finally, it's a real word. I looked it up. Anxiogenics. These are the type of things that induce anxiety. Okay, things that scare out of your donors. Okay, and whether you like it or not, or know it or not, there are certain little things that can really kind of send some people running. Even if they've already given you their credit card information, they won't hit the submit button because of 1 or 2 things. So this all has to do with this. If there's only one thing you can remember, it's this. Okay? People don't give the websites, they don't give the email machines, they give to people. That is one of the foundational hypotheses that we have here and that we've tested. And so a lot of the adjustments that you're going to see is really about tapping inside that human that you are, right? It's getting you to look outside of your fundraising, development, marketing box, and to think in terms of a donor box, okay? Just be human, be yourself, okay? I like to think of it, here's that reference, as like looking through colored glasses. Does anybody in the audience, anybody watching today know what movie this is from? Anybody? Well, if you're like me, you've probably watched the National Treasure movie. These are the wonderful secret glasses that allow you to look at the secret map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. Here, let me show you. This is Nicolas Cage. He's looking at them. Okay, but here's the great thing about the glasses, okay, is that in the same way, this is what we're doing, okay? Remember I said like misconstruals, misconceptions, irritants, anxiogenics? Think of those things as a different color of lens. So I might take a look at your email, okay? I'm gonna start at the top. All of us are gonna do this, right? I'm gonna choose a lens and I'm gonna work my way down. So if I put on the red lens, right, I push it down, oh, okay, so now I'm looking for irritants, or I'm looking for things that maybe knee-jerk, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that. But then I'll flip the other lens, and then I'll see something else, maybe some misconstruals, right? Maybe that picture isn't doing anything for me the way that it's, exactly. And then finally, I might flip the blue lens and say, oh, look, there's so little copy here. Okay, there's no value proposition, right? And so what we do is we combine all of those lenses together to give you the feedback so that you can actually have a fair shot. Because if you think about those 3 examples, was it really fair that one got that much more over the other over such a small change? It doesn't seem fair, right? So we want to help you bridge that gap, okay? Now, if you were here with us for the last couple webinars, before we jump into your live examples, let's just do a quick review. And the reason why I want to do this is, again, I want to show you how we do it, okay? So maybe get your screenshot thing ready, okay? So you can screenshot what we're going to have so you can see how we're doing this, okay? First, from our October webinar review, okay, we talked about these are the things that we have to do to get on somebody's generosity list for that final month, for this month, for December, okay? Make sure that you've got some sort of relationship going. If you haven't done that, you're gonna have some trouble. I'm not going to lie, okay? There's some things you can do, but you might need to go into our free course on that. Second, you need to be sending emails. So don't just think you're gonna have one email and that's going to do it. You're probably gonna need to send at least a couple, 3, 4. We've seen organizations send as much as 12 or 13 in the month alone. So I'm just telling you, you got to be top of mind. This is really important for today. You have to offer more than just a match and a deadline, okay? We're gonna talk about that as we look at your live examples, because as I was pulling them into the deck, I saw a lot of different examples where this issue right here, and then finally, you have to lead them all the way through the donation page. And that's why we're not just looking at emails today, we're looking at donation pages. So if you're here with our November webinar, you remembered we had 7 core year-end donation page strategies. Everything from being clear on where they're at, intensifying their attentiveness, increasing their urgency, social encouragement, meeting expectations. So if they're coming in from an email that's talking about one thing, continuing that conversation, decreasing unnecessary flow, the irritants that we're talking about, and finally, reassuring that impact and safety, anxiogenics, okay? So you can see how these things are all connected. And last but not least, again, if you have your screenshot caption or function out ready, okay, by the way, this is just, if you haven't reviewed this yet, again, these are things you need to be doing that final week, okay? So again, we have that all out there ready for you on the site. I just wanted to show it to you. And then last but not least, if you want to know how we're looking at our emails, we're pulling this directly from our free online course. Here is a whole 6-step checklist that we use every single day to ensure that the emails themselves are doing their very best to inspire the maximum generosity. Now there's more that you can do beyond this, but this is kind of where we all start, okay? So if you haven't screenshotted it, now's the time. Screenshot this, because you're gonna see a lot of this in our feedback as we go. All right, we ready to look at some emails and some donation pages?
You bet.
Okay.
Go for it.
But wait, safe harbor, don't sue me, don't send me an angry email. No, I'm just, listen, in all seriousness, I take the submissions, we take the submissions that we have and we put them in here so we could all learn. So in the spirit of generosity and in, inspiring the most generosity, let's focus on that and let's learn from each other. Let's learn from the examples that are here, even if you don't necessarily agree with the ideology or the political point of view. Anything else? Shall we go forward?
Go for it, John.
Let's go forward. Let's start with an email, okay? This is actually from an organization called Women of Grace. So if you take a look here, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit for you so you can see. So we're scrolling some more, and we're scrolling some more. But hey, you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but let me go back up and let me give you guys an idea, and ladies, sorry, of what you could do. So first things first, okay? If you remember from that checklist that you screenshotted, one of the first things that I do when I'm looking from the top is, does it look like a real email from a real human being, okay? I don't know about you, but I've never sent an email to somebody with my own headshot, okay, up at the top, from the desk of John. Hey, this could be from me, but there's no H in my name, okay? From the desk of John, here's the thing. You are telling me that I have enough information to make a decision by putting that donate button right there up top. Okay, so right away, you're de-incentivizing me to reading your entire email because for some reason you don't think that I'm going to read it. Okay, so you're even showing a lack of confidence in the content that you have. One of the things that I've noticed from all the research is that people that give like to make their decisions in the email. Therefore, we need to make sure there's enough in the email to give them a reason of why they should give. So before we even may ask for a commitment. So, you know, the fact that it's long is not bad. It could be a good thing, but how do we start it off? Let me give you some tips. Number one, use my name, okay? Dear John, okay? I don't think you need this. I don't even think you need this. Start with this. Dear John, I am so grateful for you. Your continued support allows living his life abundantly to continue to achieve our mission. So right away, it feels personal. You get that feel. Don't have any of this. It feels like a real email. And now you've engaged them. You've thanked them. You've told them they're grateful. Why are you grateful for me? Now you've got them into the content and they can follow through. And there's a lot of good stuff here. That's a little bit, there's all this bolding kind of, maybe you can drop the bold.
Lots of registered trademarks in there too.
Yeah, a lot of registered, so very official. Okay.
Very organization centric.
They don't care about that. What they care about is what you're doing, okay, and the impact that you're making, right? Testimonial, again, not bad, but if you're using this kind of HTML format, you know, make it feel like it's separate. I would say, you know, separate it a little bit, maybe some italics or something, or indent it a little bit so they can kind of see. But again, my biggest thing for you is start off well. You probably you could lose a lot of people just by the way in which you start.
And let's just kind of break that down for a second, because I think we have a number of different hypotheses as to why that's the case.
Right.
Number one is because like when people are going through their email inbox, they're on like a search and destroy mission, right? Like people are not, what's the saying? It's like people aren't looking for a reason to click, they're looking for a reason to delete. They're trying to just get through their inbox and get to inbox zero.
Right.
So when we put things in there that kind of, you know, really put all of our cards on the table right away, that we're actually making an ask, we may be losing some people, right? So that's one reason
Very easy
why.
for them to make a decision to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, and there's probably other reasons as well, but I just think, you know, obviously like putting the call to action before the value proposition, it's kind of out of order. Like there's a sequencing problem with that. I'm asking someone to make a decision before I've given them the reasons why.
And it doesn't speak at all to the one-to-one communication, right? This is a marketing email machine when I look at this email. So, you know, if Jeanette was going to email me personally, it would be much like the approach that John took. So keep that in mind is if I was going to send one person this one email, how would I write it?
Right.
Exactly.
Good.
All right.
So, and by the way, like we probably should have stated this earlier, but you know, we are going to try to be as absolutely brutally honest as we possibly can. We have critical minds that we're using right now, but not critical spirits. So please do not take this as if we're like just trying to like trash your emails and your landing pages. That's not the case. What we're really trying to do is help give you some ideas and different lenses to be able to view your marketing, right? To get the best possible results.
Exactly.
So.
Awesome.
Great.
Shall we move on to the next one in the spirit of getting through and doing more? So we've got one from Virtue's Project. Courtney, what do you see when you take a look at this?
Yeah, this is an email we received here. There's a couple things that stand out to me right away. So you just talked about an intro or a greeting. The email starts right away saying, "School children in Kenya are changing an entire community." There's no greeting. Like, are you actually talking to me? You know. So that would be great. Again, the personalization. There's a big image at the top, so all of the content gets shifted down. That would be another thing I would notice. But the big thing on this email, I think, when I look at this as a whole, John, there's multiple links in there about the 5 strategies. I don't know what the 5 strategies are.
Right.
I don't.
Is
I don't
that
know
the
if
book
you
of the 5 rings?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be awesome.
Sure.
It could be your value proposition, but it sounds like that they're not using the language of the donor.
Exactly.
Like, what would the
Yep.
donor understand immediately, right?
Right. And the goal of the email is to walk a person through that mental process that they're going to want to make the gift, right? And so we're putting links really high up without actually telling them what they are or what they're actually clicking on. And then even the link towards the bottom where it says your donation to Water Supplies Virtues Kenya Primary School, it's hyperlinked. That's great, but are you wanting me to click on that? I mean, I'm sure you are, because it's hyperlinked, but let's actually be very clear in our call to action. Like, here is the page where you can make your donation, or click on this link to donate to Water Supplies Virtues Kenya Primary School. So being very clear in a call to action is a key thing, I think, in our emails, that we can just walk them through the donation process so that they're ready to make that click.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a nitpicky thing, and I think we made the comment in the earlier email, but like the little trademarks and the little registered R symbols, like, I mean, maybe the lawyers are putting those in there and saying that we have to do that,
right.
but like,
Brand team
most
usually.
people that are, writing emails to friends, we're not like putting little registered
Yeah.
trademarks. Like,
Right.
I said something and now I have to
Now
trademark
you
it.
have to pay me a
Exactly.
quarter every time that you say it.
But again, it's a nitpicky thing.
Right.
It could be just one of those like very like subconscious, like, okay, obviously I'm being marketed to as opposed to
Sure.
just being communicated with.
Right.
And that's the whole point here, right? Remember, people give to people, not to email machines. So we're
Yeah.
just trying to make things more authentic, more real, and less, stuffy. So
Yeah, one thing I will say that I do like is that you didn't just send me one, you sent me an entire series that goes out through December. I love that.
Awesome.
And I love that the emails that you sent us at the end, okay, were very much activation, reminder type emails. The reason why I chose this particular one to be in here is because I want you to get that value proposition down. And I do like the fact that, again, you're trying here to go into the reason of why they should give. You're not just saying, I've got a match,
Yeah,
give.
the bullet points are
Okay?
great.
Like, I like that. But again, if you really want to get the maximum generosity, go with go with Courtney and go with Tim, okay? It's great advice. It's going to help increase your engagement, really get them to pay attention to the things that matter, that's going to inspire them to give. And maybe they don't give in this email, but they'll definitely be more likely to give later on because you took care of it right in the beginning. So hopefully you can find some value out of that. Is there anything else, or should we move on to the next?
I think
We're
that's
good.
good.
All right, let's move on to the next. Okay, Tim, tell me about this one. This is from Vegan Outreach. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually like this email. I think there's a lot of good things going on here. It is a bit more personal. I'd probably, maybe move the logo into the signature line at the bottom there. Just that's, most kind of emails that you send business to business, like, it's got if it has a logo or if it has an image, it's usually like in the footer. So I'd probably put it there next to the sender's name. I was just like, let me offer a couple just suggestions just about the content and maybe even just about the approach. So was it last week, John, that we did the construal theory thing?
Yes.
So this is kind of cool, but I guess about a year ago, we hired some PhDs in philanthropic psychology to go through, about 100 different experiments from our research library. And we asked them to kind of like help overlay what are some of the different philanthropic psychological theories that are at play in some of our tests. Because sometimes, maybe we're doing things right, but we don't really know that we're doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so we had a number of these different new concepts and actually maybe new language to describe the concepts brought to us. And so last week, John actually went through one of those and actually taught our team about construal theory, which basically suggests that people are part of different they have different social identities. So, and those different social identities make up their uniqueness, right? Because I can be part of a number of different, kind of social circles, right? Which each one is a place where I'm associating, but at the same time, because I'm a part of all of these different ones, and you may be part of a number of different ones, that's what also makes up my uniqueness. And what's interesting about, I think, about folks that are vegan is like, it's a very small community. It's a growing community, but it's actually very exclusive. And the people that actually really care about this, they care very deeply and they're very passionate about it. So I would say lean into that exclusivity. Most folks I know that are vegan, like, they know that they're better than everybody else, right? and so like I'd almost kind of like say, look, you are part of a very special, very unique group of people that like totally get this. And so, you know, our mission is like, how do we get other people to understand that, to think like that, and to see, you know, that there's problems with the food that they eat, right? And I think that's, you know, that those are just maybe some little nitpicky things, and maybe more from a messaging strategy standpoint,
right?
That you might be able to apply.
As you can see, like I've highlighted where you're starting to go in that direction, but you don't fully lean into it, right? Together we are powerful. Like, what if you started that hour and we language, right? A little bit stronger here, right? And again, who are you emailing? You're not emailing somebody that is not. You're emailing somebody that already knows you.
Yes.
True believers. That's right. Yeah.
We talked about that in the beginning. You have a relationship. So talk to them as you would talk to somebody else in that circle. And people can smell if somebody is legitimate or not based on the way, if they talk the talk or whatever. We see this a lot with even political activism organizations. We've tested it too, where, hey, this language doesn't really match. Let's fire it up a little bit, right? So I love what you're saying, Tim. I think you know how to do it too. Just be bold and courageous and test that.
That's good.
Anything else that you guys would mention?
No, I mean, there's a lot of things to like. It's got a very clear, specific goal, like 111, 612, you know, dollar. I mean, like it's, you know, we're making some, we've got some specificity. We make the invitation for folks to join. I mean, the email does read like a letter to a friend. I mean, it's really got a lot of good stuff going
They
on.
could potentially add the person's name again throughout the email to make it a little bit more personal again. I mean,
together, John, we are powerful, right?
I know not everyone has those capabilities because of resourcing, but this person obviously has a salutation in the beginning with their first name, so let's add it again.
Right. Make sure these links are clearly clickable. If it's a different color, I mean, blue is kind of hard to process. But if it's a nice bright blue with underline under it, then it's unmistakable.
And again, clarity in our call to action.
Oh, one other thing. I mean, you might want to try a raw link, https://y, because real people copy and paste links and put them in the emails. They don't hyperlink their texts.
Right.
So, yeah.
Good.
It's an extra one for you. All right, shall we move on to the next?
You bet.
Let's go to the next. All right, this one is from the Ottawa Food Bank. That's Ottawa, Canada, not Ottawa, Illinois. I could tell you all about Ottawa, Illinois. So
why?
I know.
It sounds like
You
a
know
story.
so much about Ottawa.
I know. Okay, so So as you can see, I'm going to scroll down here, give you guys a little. Let's go back up. Courtney, what do you think?
Sure. When I see this, the first thing that like screams out to me is the massive image at the top, right? So, you know, John and I talked about eliminating the top section of the very first email we looked at. I would do the exact same thing here. That image is not needed. In fact, something that I don't think we've even talked about today, and maybe you have in some of the online courses or other webinars, is deliverability of our emails. We've seen, you know, when there's a lot of images or big images within our emails, we suffer in the deliverability. We can't actually get into the inboxes of our constituents, and that's an issue, right?
Yeah.
They won't actually even see this email possibly because it might be, you know, flagged as a promotion email,
Right.
and go in the promotions tab, or even spam, just because of these massive images within the email itself. So strip the email of all of these big images, both of them, the top one, the middle one, and John, do you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, that alone, like inboxing is becoming such a great
Huge.
issue for email marketers. Like, that's one of the reasons why I think, like when we write these, you know, more stripped down kind of plain text type of emails, why we're getting such success is purely just because we're getting more to hit the inbox as opposed to the bulk box.
And we test this too, Tim. You know, I mean, we'll use identical subject lines, identical content within. The only thing that we'll remove is the images.
Yep.
And we see an increase in opens and clicks simply because it got placed in their inbox.
Right.
So.
And actually, I got some data that I was looking at. We've got this really cool new tool that tells us like email deliverability across like any email sender. And like Giving Tuesday really took a hit because of the increased volume, because everybody's sending, you know, basically the same
day.
the same
Right.
message the same day. So that's also going to be an issue at year end as well.
A couple more emails, we'll go right to donation pages, all right? I'm gonna assume, again, this has a donation link. Maybe it's this guy right here. I don't know if it's, you guys give us an image, but if not, you probably should put one, maybe an HTTPS. Okay, but let me break down this one. There's a lot of good things. So number one, it feels very personal, okay? There's a narrative, okay? Now, let me help you reorganize that narrative to have a little bit more power, okay? Let me tell you about Marco. Marco hates going to school and finds it difficult to fit in with his peers. Sounds like my daughter. He's 13 years old and is an only child. My daughter's 5. His parents are lost. Every year we hear about hundreds of kids like Marco struggle. Okay, so you make this jump, all right? But yeah, I see this text over here. This year, Marco's school received instruments, but something happened. So what if you were to take this first top part and then say, but something changed? And then you go to this. This year, he received instruments. Learning how to play gave him a purpose, a group of friends, and a room he could call home. Okay? Then, we believe music is the answer. School programs just like this from Marco help. Do you feel the difference? And you've got all the right content here. Okay? And the story that you tell is the same story that I hear from all the kids that I teach martial arts with. Okay? They're all Filipinos, and they all found their friendship and their brotherhood and whatever in my school for some reason. Okay? But the thing is I have to be able to say that narrative in such a way. I start with the individual and then I branch out farther. Like, you need to finish the story and then make the transition to your organization on the broad level. So does that make sense? So that my biggest feedback here is reorganize your content to get them a little bit deeper. You got the problem, but then this year something happened. And then we believe music can be the answer. School music programs provide a safe space for kids, but we can't do it alone. We need your help. So if you just reorganize the content a little bit, I think you're going to have a lot more impact. Because right now you're just jumping from one thing to the next, and some people, you just might lose some people. But do that, add that HTTPS link, and you're going to take what's a good email and make it into a very strong email. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, and I think that this particular offer and this particular appeal is going to really be, most appealing to a specific, type of person. Somebody who
Right.
really values music, understands that like the fact that music programs are being stripped from schools is not a good thing for not just like, a person's well-rounded education, but like just like their soul, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like I would get a little bit more emotional about it because
Exactly.
I think the people that will respond to this are going to be a bit more emotional, right?
And
I
the
mean,
story itself is emotional, right?
it is, yeah. But I would just lean into that a little bit more because I think these are people that are passionate about that.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, shall we move on to the next? Let's do it.
Mhm.
This is Wagon Wheel. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts. So it's an actual place, organization of a place. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You can kind of see a nice long email. All right. And a little bit extra there. So Courtney, tell me a little bit about this. I can scroll back up real quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good things going on in this email. Some things that we've referenced before, the banner image at the top, that could be, either removed or moved to the very bottom by the signature block. But the email itself is great. Like, it starts to be really engaging at the very beginning, asking them a question. What's your favorite memory from this year? Again, that engaging kind of story-based conversational style is really strong for emails. So that's great. Goes into kind of some great value proposition. There's even a point where, it actually tells you what their gift might do, the two important needs of the organization. So communicating the need is important as well. But I think my biggest thing that I would change on this one, John, is I thought the email was done up after the director's signature. And really, it should be.
Right.
And it could be. I would actually completely get rid of, the 501c3. That's not important. And then even the section on the bottom is a bit odd to me that you'd have that in the email. It's not needed. You've already communicated the value proposition within the body of the copy. And it was very compelling, really strong language. So, you know, let the copy do that. You don't need this additional little bump.
Notice that the font and the color is slightly different. It makes me feel like it's templated.
Yeah, or
right
an
again.
ad.
And now it's
So bad.
now your genuine approach and feel becomes disingenuous.
Yes.
Some people will feel that as a knee jerk. They're like, aha, I got it. The email machine.
Yeah.
You know, just get rid
Yeah.
of it. And then
Look at-
nobody can say that. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I just noticed this. They use a raw link. That's great. So
That's see, there's some.
again, this email is really strong. I think if you could just get rid of that bottom section,
Yeah.
you'd be in good shape.
Yeah, see? We got a nice raw link. Happy face for you. Okay, anything else? Or shall we move on to the next?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. And last but not least, we're going to jump into donation pages next. So, because just, again, try to keep it even here. We've got Bethlehem Farm sent this appeal. It looks like it's definitely a donation appeal email. Tim, thoughts on this?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's a number of things. Can you scroll down a little bit? Let me just see the full context. Yeah, okay. So, couple things here. I mean, we've got multiple conflicting calls to action. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, blog, website. All those things are fine. All those things are good, but that's not really what you want them to do in this email. What you want them to do is give. Want to serve at Bethlehem Farm in 2018. Again, that's another call to action. There's some registration things. So, you know, we've got a lot of things. I feel like that this is almost like an email that has schizophrenia. Like it doesn't really know what it wants to be. Is it a newsletter?
Yeah.
Is it a donation appeal? Is it a year-end, you know, fundraising, you know, giving opportunity? So I would pick one of those things and focus intently on that. You know, the text is probably fine. What your donation can pay for is great. We've got some good gift handles there. $25 buys this, $50 buys that. Yeah, I'd get rid of basically everything in the left-hand column. I'd probably nix the banner up at the top that says year-end giving because I'm not really sure what that does for me besides, you know, tip me off that this is a marketing email. But yeah, other than that, I think, you know, the content's pretty good. The offer's good. $50, 125 covers a month. Yeah, good offer there. And you got the picture of the folks and the team, the crew. I like that. That's great.
Maybe maybe have a donate link right here in line.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So again, you can make your year-end donation here, as opposed to, oh wait, now I got to figure out where is it over here. Oh yeah, it's up here.
Click
All right.
back to the top.
So
All right, so that hopefully that's helpful to you, whoever submitted this one, and let's go ahead and move on to the next. Or we got to hit some donation pages because we are running out of time. That technical flaw hurt us.
Here's one: Arthritis Society. Okay,
I'll take
and I. Sorry, don't look at that. Okay, that's a typo. So go ahead.
All right.
Take a look at it, Courtney.
Donation page. When I look at this, the first thing I notice is this massive 2-column approach, right? You have content on your left, donation, the start of a donation form on your right.
What's wrong with the right-hand column? It's oftentimes the last place that people look, right? People have, you know, kind of banner blindness. Anything in the right-hand column is like basically the did zone, right?
Yes, good. And I mean, again, a massive image at the very top with a link.
It's clever.
It is very clever.
Can I show you guys
Yeah.
that image?
Yeah.
Can I just zoom in on that really quick? Let me show you. Okay, it's an axe in his head with the. I'm not kidding. You cannot make this up. Okay.
Not the purpose of this webinar, but it's a great point. It is a great point.
But listen,
It's a clever way
it's
of making
clever, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, we like it, but the donors not. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think, again, it's clever. I like this, like, wrapping presents, decorating the tree. Like, there's some kind of play on this story angle, and that's really good. But I would make it one column. I would remove the very top, add a headline of what a person will be able to do when they make a donation to this organization. Yep, right through there. The image is fine, again, if it supports the value proposition of the page.
Right.
So just keep those things in mind. But my biggest thing is the 2-column.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I'd love to test it. It would be a very, very interesting experiment, like testing that kind of. I mean, it's a clever hook. So anyway,
cool.
Good stuff.
Shall we move on to the next?
Let's keep
All
going.
right.
We're gonna have to move. Do
Okay, here we
rapid
go.
speed here.
Next one. Tim, why don't you tell us about this one? This is after breast cancer.
Okay, cool. So, lot going on here. It's a pretty busy page. I'm going to go rapid fire here. So one of the things that we've learned is that when you give people bailout opportunities, they will take them every single time. So up there in the top, we've got a lot of different options that people can do. Many of them are not aligned with giving. So I would basically get rid of the entire navigation aspect there. The very next thing I see on the page is this donate little widget. Over top all of these images. It's just kind of a busy background. Honestly, I get rid of the busy background. It's asking me to do something before it's actually giving me a valid reason to do so. So I'd probably actually use some more copy to explain how and why I want somebody to make a gift today before I present them with the form where they can actually make that decision. So probably inversing those kind of things. So I mean, I'd say, if I were to sum it all up, get rid of distractions, change the sequencing, add more value proposition, and I think you'll probably get a pretty quick win there. So
Right, and I don't know if this donation catalog is helping you. It's just something else for them to look at and get distracted.
it could be. You could have a whole separate email that just goes
straight
specifically to that opportunity.
That's probably that's what I recommend. So choose a focus, right, and send them in, and then you can test against what does better or just both in your whole campaign.
Great.
All right. Let's move on to the next.
On
All
to the
right.
next.
Oh, another one. So forgive us. This is the screen capture will do that. This image will stay constant as you scroll down until you get to this part. Tim, what do you think? Women's Scholarship Fund.
Well, I mean, so in this particular example, they don't have navigation, so I like that. That's good. There's a little sign-in box there. So we may be getting into some issues where folks are actually limited by their donation tool or their templates.
Right.
If that is the case, I would say what other information could I include to explain the value proposition a bit more? There's really only one sentence of copy. I'm not quite sure if that's enough. Usually it's not. Our experience is that you need a little bit more than one sentence to explain the reasons why somebody should give, because again, by the time somebody has reached this page, like all of the anxiety of the experiment is on full display. All of like the friction exists because it's all the work. I love the dollar handles. That's great. And then you can also have like a custom donation amount. That's good too. Gift frequency. I mean, that's another decision to make. So I've got three decisions in a row that I've got to make. But then there's a couple of these decisions, a few of these decisions actually, that I don't know if this is the right time to ask. We have, where do I want to apply my donation to? So I've got to choose between these different things. I think when I looked at this earlier, there's like a number of different funds. I don't know the difference between those different funds. Help me choose, maybe make it easy, or just get rid of that decision altogether.
Right.
Your note for the donor scroll, I don't really know what that is. Oh, and then I kind of scan the page, try to make sense. Oh, I guess maybe it's this thing down here. But again, that's something that is very organizational centric. You know what it is. Does your donor know what it is? And are they now actually experiencing anxiety because they don't know what to write? Maybe they're not a good writer. Maybe they're not clever. Maybe they don't have anything really necessarily to say, and you make them feel they take that emotional hit when that's unintended. Honor someone else. And again, another question that I have to now consider. Oh, that's a really great idea. Let me talk to my wife about that, because I think, my father or mother or whoever would love to be honored by that, but we need to, have that discussion. So now I've put another question before my donor that they may not be prepared to answer. Yeah. So, and what's interesting is this is only step one of the donation process, and all of these questions, nothing is capturing my contact information. So if I bail out of the process here, there's no way to kind of re-engage me. And these are all the tough questions. I would move all the tough questions to the very end of the experience, even after they can click donate.
Yeah.
If that's not possible, eliminate them. So those are some thoughts there.
Right. Sometimes and this is advice that I've given, sometimes you just need to you need to get them invested into the process itself. And the more invested they are into the process itself, the more likely some people will be to finish it when they come to these hard questions.
Great.
So, all right, anything else, or shall we move on? Good, let's do it.
All right.
Next. All right, this one is for Life Song for Orphans. Reed, did you send this? It was you, wasn't it, right? Listen, let's take a look at this donation page. It's actually, at a glance, it's pretty solid. It's pretty good. Let's scroll down a little bit. Okay?
Somebody's been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Okay, so we've got some value. I've got proposition, then we've got the actual form. Let me just work my way down the page, from top to bottom, so you can see what else could you possibly do. right? So number one, so again, very good start,
Yeah.
excellent start, right? Question is would you be better off testing this in line, right? In line here, so the first thing they can see, so they don't necessarily skip over it, right? And then also you're probably going to want to test the different types of images, okay? Is this evident that this is in fact an orphan? Things like that. Now I did see on your site that it's part of another campaign, so maybe that's why you have it. But again, where should I place it? Where's the optimal place to place it? Okay, that's the first thing. So a lot of good stuff. You know, you can help become sons and daughters, so you're focusing on them. Right? Every child we serve is, you know, and your gift makes this possible. So a lot of great things. Okay. One question that I have is how close are we to our goal? Is that part of your plans? If it's not, a little progress bar with 80%, right? We're almost there. That's good for an incremental increase. Okay, what about a countdown clock? Maybe this is already, again, part of your test. Be like, how many hours, minutes, days are left? Again, little things. I'm sure that's probably part of your plan, okay? But if not, definitely want to consider those. Another very small thing, okay? Even when I was in the for-profit space, you know, right? You follow this stuff. I noticed that I ran a test one time where I got rid of all these really thick lines in between each section, okay? And I actually saw an incremental increase, all right? I love the fact that this is kind of shaded differently and you got a little secure, but because you got all the lines, you almost take away from the effect because you got to hop over one fence to the other fence. Again, this is great, by the way. I love this, but that's like next level, okay? And you're next level, right? So one other thing, down here, this is your opportunity to catch that hesitation and remind them of, again, what is their gift going towards? That could be worth an extra 10%. We've seen it happen in a test, so I would encourage you to test that as part of what you're doing. But otherwise, Tim, Courtney, I mean,
Well, you know, one thing I don't see here is a recurring gift opportunity. So, you know, we know the value of recurring givers. They give more gifts. They have higher donor value. Is that something that could be introduced with an added incentive or an added value proposition attached to it? I mean, that's one thought to test on this page.
And something super minor but interesting to look at is the language we use on our donate button. This one says give now. Maybe you could personalize it by saying make my donation or make my gift now. Those little nuances.
One other tiny thing, we talk about investment. Ask for the payment information after they've already put in all this other stuff. Because then they're like, oh, I already kind of, like, if there's any hesitation, remember, you've got that working
Easy
for
questions
you.
first, right?
Right.
I know
Easy
my name.
questions,
I know my email. I might not know my credit card number.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so, and again, I'm sure you're testing gift arrays versus open, that, again, so, but this should all be enough for you to kind of go back and work and do some testing and figure out what's optimal for your audience. But otherwise,
well done.
Yeah.
nice.
Keep going. We got 3 minutes, my friend.
Next, Family Promise of Northern Newcastle County. Courtney, what do you think? Guys, again, screenshot error, okay?
Yeah.
It just
Right.
scrolls with it.
It starts out right away by saying we're dedicated to keeping families. I would like it to be a little bit more user-centric, focused on the donor. Like, you can do this, or because of you, families can stay together and overcome homelessness, or something like that. Again, small thing, but again, in the mind of the donor, let's speak to them, not from an organization-centric language. I think that it could use some value proposition. You know, it has what I'm considering a headline, though I'm guessing that, you know, that's their body copy. I would put, really make that a headline and then add value proposition that reinforces the headline, and then go into the donation ask.
And this is a common, I think, you know, maybe mistake we make as, you know, being on the other side of the fence, right? Or other side of the screen in this case. But we talk about the things that we do, not necessarily the outcomes of those things. Like, we help families move into housing faster and more effectively. Why is that important?
Right.
Why does that matter? What sort of impact does that have on people that I, you know, would want to help and support with my donation, right? We've got the navigation thing up at the top again. Again, we got bailout opportunities. People can click on all those different things, just get rid of it. In our experience, getting rid of navigation is an easy, quick pickup of some additional gifts. You know, we've got all these equally weighted different options here. Like, there's 4 things. Donate one time, donate every month, donate each quarter, donate each year. that's a lot for people to process.
Right.
If I get the focus on recurring, so bravo for that, but maybe make it a little bit easier.
Maybe simplify it.
Yeah.
Maybe give them the option to select, or I'd like to make more than one donation, or I'd like to I would like to donate regularly.
And the special purpose for your donation. Well, of course, I came to give to do what I just said, before, overcoming homelessness for families. That could be completely taken out, I think. So
I'm assuming that when you select an amount, a button will come up, or a continue button. So just something to just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I mean, I think that we hit the big ones there. So
Okay.
let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going. The trumpeter swan, did I say it right? Trumpeter swan society, okay?
That's
For
a
the swans.
beautiful looking bird, isn't it?
it
Yes.
is.
Courtney,
So-
just rapid fire. What do you think?
I praise them for not having navigation at the top, a very clean page. But I'm going to point out the 2-column right away, and the big image at the top. So can we actually put that at the very top, and then move everything on the right-hand side just below the content on the left? The image of the bird is beautiful, but can we put that in line? Test that, because it is very large.
Yeah.
And it starts out saying, make your year-end gift. Again, what is my gift going to do? If I make a donation to this organization, how will it help them?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes saying make your year-end gift will actually give you a nice little incremental increase. If you were on the online course, you would know that. Okay, but again, that's like 101. That's not 201, 301, which is what really motivates people.
Yes.
What's the effect?
Yeah, can you scroll down to the gift array? So I know we've talked about this before. I mean, video killed the radio star, but also radio buttons killed the donation. So like, can we have big clickable buttons, make it easier for people to click those things, especially for donors that are up there in age, that don't see as well or have,
Aren't mobile.
Right.
or on
Right.
mobile, you've got,
Terrible
I've got
experience.
little sausage fingers. I've been blessed with those. So, it's hard for people like us to kind of click inside that little tiny circle. It's a very small bullseye. So big clickable buttons, love it. Maybe even reduce the number of options we've tested. 3 options has outperformed, 5 or more options in the past, but those are little kind of tweaky things you could do. Enter your secure information. Do we have a padlock deal there?
It's secure. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
like that.
good. That's good. Okay.
Payment must be on.
The big open
There's a little
box.
padlock. They got their little padlock down
Yeah,
there.
we got a little padlock.
There
That's
you go.
good.
Good.
Remove
Cool.
the big open box. That scares me. It looks like it's requiring me to
It's an
write
essay.
a bunch.
Oh, it's an honor.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I see.
an essay test.
You
right?
could just do a
You have to-
checkbox that would automatically show something up if it comes, then those people are already motivated. They know what they want to say. But for everybody else, it stops them.
Cool.
So, all right.
All right, we are 2 minutes over. Is there any other
well,
ones we can
there's-
get to real quick here?
We've got one other. We got a couple others actually, but we could squeeze this last one in.
Let's just go ahead. Yeah, let's
This
keep going.
last one, okay. Children's Hospital Los Angeles. Again, looks like one of those templates that I've seen a lot. In fact, I'm going to zoom in because I can't. It's difficult to see, right? Donate now to help children. Make double the difference for a child in the hospital. Double the goats, triple the goats. 3 goats equals 6 goats. That's your incentive. Okay. If you were on the online course, you'll know what I'm saying when I'm talking about goats.
Yeah,
doubling goats. Okay.
Yeah, I was
So
a little lost.
I know you're like,
You
what?
lost me.
Now, okay, that's for all you faithful watchers, okay?
Okay.
But listen,
It's your little Easter egg.
it's all about, what I'm trying to say is a match is only a third of what makes your donation page and makes your appeal great. You need to have a reason, the offer. And the reason is all the other things that you're doing that makes them even care about your organization in the first place. So my advice would be to don't just, start off with something like that and then your match. You know what I mean? And then you can visualize it with a star or a seal or something. Okay? Go into Santa's bag of tricks.
Yep.
But start with the offer. And the offer is, again, the opportunity they have, okay, to make this great impact in the lives of these kids.
Yes.
And when you're testing images, we have tested the images that best represent the value proposition can actually increase generosity. This image, maybe it's just me, but
Cute little boy.
great looking
Yeah.
boy. But is that do you have another one that's more representative of the work that you're doing? Maybe it's
Or
him.
who is he and why is he
Or
special?
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either give me more context, or let the image have the complete context without the text. One or the other.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so don't conflate offer and incentive, and add a little more context to images you use on the page. Again, this looks like they're kind of locked into a certain template, so that you may be limited on text and things that you can include, but just leading with the incentive is usually not the right approach. We need to lead with the offer and then use the incentive to kind of close the deal, right?
Right.
So, okay.
Good.
Anyone else we can get to real quick here?
Let's just,
David Suzuki?
Let's tackle this, right? Let's tackle this one.
Cool.
This
I think
last one.
this
Yep.
is similar, right?
Yeah,
this is
we got a similar kind of
It,
problem
it,
here.
it pretty is. I mean, in fact, I'm going to have to zoom in again, okay, here, so we can actually see the text. Okay, protect what you love, give today. What do you love? You love the trees, you love the forest, you love the nature. I mean, I don't know a lot about this organization, but look what's happening is you're leading here with the incentive. Okay, you're talking about a challenge from a guy named Leonard. Again, and that's great for the people who already know or whatnot, but again, people need to be reminded. You need to lead them all the way through. They have that flash when they go from the email, they're like, okay, what? Or maybe they got interrupted.
Yeah, and you know, climate change is it's a very kind of emotional issue for a lot of folks, and you know, this could be another opportunity to you know, to use like some of the different kind of social identities here, right? So like people that care about the environment and climate change have a duty and responsibility to do something about that. You know what I mean? Kind of leaning into this whole persona of somebody that cares about climate change is going to do everything it takes, even if it means actually sacrificing, you know, and giving sacrificially to make sure that, you know, we can fight back and push back against that. So, I mean, you know, just leaning into that a little bit more with copy. You know, the image is, I don't know if it's the best image, you know, maybe like a melting ice cap or something. I mean, if that's the kind of message we're talking about. Maybe adding a little bit more of an urgency into the conversation could be helpful. So those are some things that I think jumped out to me. I love the one time and monthly, but like, it's just why, you know, what do you want to do? This one or that one? What is the value proposition? Why is monthly better? Like, can you give me a separate value proposition that will make me say, gosh, not only am I going to give, but I'm going to make it repeat every single month because you've given me a reason to do so. This is something that we found through our recurring gift study that's low-hanging fruit, right? I mean, we're just not making enough of a reason for somebody to make that choice, right? So those are a couple things I thought of. What else you got?
The two things that stand out are the big give today on the right hand side in the banner, and then the copy that says, how would you like to donate? You're asking for the donation before, again, the offer, I think is key. I literally see give today, how would you like to donate? It's a little bit alarming if I'm not ready to, you know, go through with it.
Great.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think we're out of time.
Okay. Yeah, we're 7 minutes over.
Yeah. So just quick little reminder. You're gonna get some checklists. Okay. It's just direct from our free email course. Okay. This is the same stuff that we use day in, day out. Okay, to get started on all these emails before we get into the fancy schmancy academic stuff. Okay, but this stuff is worth a ton in terms of generosity. In addition, we even have the same for the donation page. So again, check the replay. You're going to have these checklists. And then finally, if you haven't been in there, you'll learn about the goat joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is that good-looking guy? What is his name?
Yeah.
Is that your ultimate resource? And then I saw a picture of John Powell. So.
Yeah, right.
Right?
That is why
It's
I'm
true.
wearing
I mean,
the
he
Santa
is the
suit.
ultimate resource.
I have the bag full of gifts. So
Yeah.
great. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, and
Great
by
stuff.
the way, the reason why we put these things together is because our mission is really to help and empower you guys. I mean, like, we're constantly doing all these different experiments, and we're learning different things, and we're like, we don't want to hold on to that stuff, right?
Right.
We want to be very generous with what's been entrusted to us, and that are these incredible learnings. So please go make use of those resources. I promise there's no hook or sinker or anything. We're really just trying to help and empower you folks to do the great work that you do even better. So thank you very much for attending. Sorry for the technical issues. We appreciate your grace, and we're hoping that you have the very best year end ever. Thanks.